The story of America is one of remarkable resilience, ingenuity, and evolution. From its early beginnings as a land inhabited by diverse indigenous cultures to its rise as a global superpower, the history of America is a testament to the enduring spirit of its people and the transformative power of historical events. America's history begins long before the arrival of European explorers, with indigenous peoples cultivating rich and diverse civilizations across the continent. European exploration, spearheaded by Christopher Columbus and subsequent explorers, marked the beginning of significant cultural and geopolitical changes in the New World. Spanish settlements like St. Augustine, Florida, and French outposts such as Quebec and New Orleans established early footholds, each contributing distinct cultural influences to the evolving American landscape. However, it was the English colonies that laid the groundwork for the nation's future. Jamestown, founded in 1607, and Plymouth, settled by the Pilgrims in 1620, exemplified the varied motivations and challenges faced by early English settlers. The colonies developed distinct economies. New England focused on fishing and shipbuilding, the middle colonies thrived on agriculture and trade, while the southern colonies relied heavily on plantation agriculture, particularly tobacco, rice, and later cotton, cultivated by enslaved labor. The seeds of independence were sown through a series of political and economic grievances against British rule. The imposition of taxes such as the Stamp Act and Townshend Acts without colonial representation sparked widespread dissent among the American colonists. The Boston Tea Party of 1773, where colonists protested the Tea Act by dumping British tea into Boston Harbor, symbolized the growing resistance to British policies. The tipping point came with the Declaration of Independence in 1776, drafted by Thomas Jefferson and adopted by the Continental Congress. This historic document asserted America's right to self-governance, citing grievances against King George III and laying the foundation for a new nation. The subsequent Revolutionary War, marked by pivotal battles like Lexington and Concord, Saratoga, and the decisive victory at Yorktown in 1781, secured American independence. The Treaty of Paris in 1783 formally recognized the United States as a sovereign nation, marking the end of British colonial rule. The post-revolutionary period saw the establishment of the Articles of Confederation, America's first attempt at a national government. However, the weaknesses of this confederation, including the inability to levy taxes or regulate commerce effectively, prompted the Constitutional Convention of 1787 in Philadelphia. Delegates, including Benjamin Franklin, James Madison, and George Washington, gathered to revise the Articles and ultimately drafted the U.S. Constitution. This foundational document created a federal system of government with checks and balances between executive, legislative, and judicial branches, ensuring a balance of power and protecting individual rights. The addition of the Bill of Rights in 1791 further guaranteed fundamental freedoms such as freedom of speech, religion, and the right to a fair trial, solidifying America's commitment to liberty and justice for all. America's territorial expansion and westward movement defined much of its early national identity. The Louisiana Purchase of 1803, negotiated by President Thomas Jefferson, doubled the size of the nation overnight, opening vast new territories for exploration and settlement. The Lewis and Clark Expedition of 1804 to 1806, commissioned to explore the newly acquired lands, paved the way for future waves of pioneers and settlers seeking new opportunities and adventures in the West. Manifest Destiny, a belief in America's divine mission to expand westward, fueled migration along trails like the Oregon Trail, transforming the rugged frontier into settled territories and eventually states. However, this expansion came at a profound cost to Native American tribes, whose lands and cultures were increasingly marginalized and disrupted by the relentless march of American progress. By the mid-19th century, America was deeply divided over the issue of slavery, with tensions reaching a boiling point. The Civil War, 1861 to 1865, erupted as Southern states seceded from the Union, forming the Confederate States of America in defense of states' rights and the institution of slavery. Battles such as Gettysburg and Antietam became harrowing symbols of the conflict's human toll and ideological struggle. President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, declaring slaves in Confederate-held territories free, transformed the war into a moral crusade for freedom. The Union's eventual victory at the Battle of Gettysburg and General Robert E. Lee's surrender at Appomattox Courthouse in 1865 secured the preservation of the Union and paved the way for Reconstruction. During Reconstruction, America grappled with the immense challenge of rebuilding the war-torn South and integrating millions of newly freed African Americans into society. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery, the 14th Amendment granted citizenship and equal protection under the law, and the 15th Amendment guaranteed voting rights regardless of race, marking significant strides toward racial equality and civil rights. The late 19th and early 20th centuries witnessed America's rapid industrialization, fueled by innovations in technology, transportation, and communication. The Industrial Revolution transformed the nation's economy, leading to the rise of urban centers, the expansion of railroads, and the emergence of powerful industries such as steel, oil, and manufacturing. Entrepreneurs and industrialists like Andrew Carnegie, John D. Rockefeller, and Henry Ford became iconic figures of America's burgeoning capitalist economy. America's role on the world stage expanded during World War I, 1917 to 1918, and World War II, 1941 to 1945, where it emerged as a global superpower and champion of democracy. Technological advancements, including the development of nuclear weapons and the space race against the Soviet Union, underscored America's scientific and military prowess during the Cold War era, 1947 to 1991. The mid-20th century witnessed profound social and cultural changes as America confronted issues of racial segregation, discrimination, and inequality. The Civil Rights Movement, led by visionary leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, and Malcolm X, mobilized millions in a nonviolent struggle for racial justice and equality under the law. Landmark events like the Montgomery bus boycott, 1955 to 1956, the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, 1963, and the Selma to Montgomery marches, 1965, galvanized national support for legislative reforms. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin, while the Voting Rights Act of 1965 ensured equal access to the ballot box for African Americans. Today, America stands as a beacon of democracy, innovation, and cultural diversity. Its cultural contributions span music genres like jazz, rock and roll, and hip-hop, literary masterpieces from authors like Mark Twain and Ernest Hemingway, artistic movements such as abstract expressionism, and cinematic achievements from Hollywood. America's global influence extends beyond its economic and military power to encompass soft power through popular culture, technology innovations from Silicon Valley, and diplomatic initiatives promoting democracy and human rights worldwide. The nation continues to grapple with contemporary challenges, including immigration reform, climate change, and social justice movements advocating for equality and inclusivity. In conclusion, the history of America is a narrative of resilience, progress, and the pursuit of freedom and opportunity. From its humble beginnings as a collection of colonies to its evolution into a global superpower, America's journey has been shaped by courageous leaders, transformative events, and the aspirations of its diverse population. By reflecting on the lessons of its past and embracing the ideals of liberty and justice for all, America continues to strive toward a more perfect union, ensuring its legacy as a beacon of hope and possibility for generations to come.